Hi there. Standing in a flower bed here. It's Jennifer Elizabeth Masters, and today is Monday, and I'm a little late with my Monday morning motivation, but you know, I was a little slow getting ready this morning. It's Canadian Thanksgiving, and I am Canadian, have Canadian roots, and I had to talk to a few of my family members this morning. So what I noticed though, there are repeating patterns in our world and in our lives. And as I took my kitchen scraps, my leftover veggies and fruit, to my neighbors to feed their chickens, and I'm talking to their chickens, it dawned on me, you know, that when I was a child, my parents had chickens. And I'm looking at all these repeating patterns, that what goes around comes around. And that is so true. So in my childhood, my parents had chickens. My father called me chicken. It was his his nickname, his sweet nickname for me. And you know, when I was in my probably early 20s, I had a picture taken of me in Canada. I was very cold. I'd picked up a chicken, and my father took a picture of me holding this chicken, and the chicken was very happy to be nestled in my arms. And here am I feeding chickens this morning, and the girls come to me and they're friendly, and you see the repeating patterns. So I started thinking about what else is repeating. Well, have you ever noticed that the further away that you distance yourself from something, the closer it becomes? For example, in 2001, I had a landscape business for Heavenscapes Limited. I did feng shui in the garden. I became a Georgia Master Gardener with the University of Georgia. It was a fabulous program. I highly recommend it if you're in Georgia. Oops, I thought there was a spider crawling on me. It was just a cat. So I became a Georgia Master Gardener, and then I became the landscape lawn and garden manager at the local Ace Hardware. They hired me to be their garden manager. It was a man's world, and here was little old me in this man's world, a hardware store. But what the interesting thing is, it was a small job making a little bit of money with a big title. So where else have we had a job where you've got a big title but you don't get compensated for it? Maybe you don't have the power for it. So is this a pattern that's repeating? Okay, so, you know, being a mother, for example, think about this. You know, we raise our children, we teach them everything that we know, and the key is to launch them. We want to launch them so that they're successful. And then we as mothers or fathers, we have to step back and allow them, because they're now in their own journey, on their own trajectory, and we take a lesser role. We're still parents to our children, but we're not integrated in their lives on a daily basis. So there's this repeating pattern, this thread, where we're active and inactive, needed and not needed. It's interesting. I find it very interesting. So what is the long and the short of all of this? Well, I also wanted to talk to you about, as we come into the world, we're totally helpless. We're totally dependent on our mothers to take care of us, to feed, clothe, bathe, change our diapers. And then at the end of our lives, what happens? The same thing happens. We become totally dependent on our children to feed, clothe, hopefully not change our diapers, but in many cases that's the case, you know, that we need care at the end of our lives. We have repeating patterns, common threads that go through our entire lives that repeat and repeat and repeat. And when you recognize the pattern and where you're at in the journey, it stops being misery. So when you first are no longer needed as a parent, it can feel like, oh my gosh, you know, she doesn't need me anymore. He doesn't need me anymore. I'm not an integral part of their lives. And it could make you feel, well, possibly unloved. But if you love yourself enough, then it's time for a different phase of life. So basically what we have to watch for are the signals in our life that start and stop these cycles. So as our children are all launched, then we have this freedom. Instead of looking at it from, oh, nobody wants me, they don't need me in their lives anymore. Well, what's the silver lining? There's always a silver lining to look for. We have tremendous freedom. Now that my kids are all independent, they don't need me. I can do whatever I want. I can travel the world. I could sit on a toadstool and meditate the rest of my life. They don't need me. I can do whatever I want. Do you see the magic of this? So the same is true with our families. We go through lives, we need our parents, then we don't need them, and then they need us. The cycle repeats. And it's this giving, receiving, giving and receiving, giving and receiving. And it changes. It's like a baton. Do you remember in high school or college maybe you ran track? I used to run track. I wasn't very fast, but I did. And we used to do these relay races where you would divide up the mile or whatever distance, and you'd pass the baton to someone, and you'd make sure the pass had to be good, though. That's the issue. So when we let go of our children, we need to make sure that the pass is a good one. We need to make sure we're no longer enabling our kids. We need to make sure that they got all the love that they needed, that we were present with them when they needed us, so that when we pass that baton to them, there you go, you have your life. It's here for you. Take it away. Run with it. That they're not feeling like somebody's got a chain around their ankles or that their drawers are around their knees. So we need to make sure that we're the best parents we can be, giving our kids the attention that they need when they need it. Case in point. Case in point, what I'd like to say is I was at the grocery store recently, and what I've noticed, because I've done a lot of work with narcissism, empaths, and narcissists, what makes a narcissist. And what I will tell you is narcissists are not born, they're created. The parents create the narcissists. And how are they created? They're created when parents are distracted. They're paying attention to their cell phone. They're paying attention to the boyfriend that is an addict and that needs all their time and attention. They're not giving the time and attention to the children, and then they're not present. And I saw a mother in a grocery store, and she's with a son. He was probably, I'm guessing, 13, 14 maybe. And he says, Mom, I got my grade up to an A or A+. I can't remember which it was. And the mom is looking at something on the shelf, and he's standing here. She doesn't even lift her head to look at him. She goes, "Oh, that's nice, dear." Like she didn't really hear him. And he could feel she wasn't present. She didn't praise him for the good grade that she got, that he improved, that he was diligent, that he did what it took to get his grade up to an A+. She was distracted in her own little world. And so when we have our children, we must be present with them when they need us, when they're talking to us. If they're going to the grocery store with us, don't be on our cell phone. We've got to be present with the people we're with. Otherwise, they feel insignificant, they don't feel important, and they sure don't feel loved. And that's the bottom line, is that as a parent, as a partner, we want our partners, our children, our pets to feel loved. And the way they do is that when we're with them, we are fully present. We're not focusing on something else. Now, yes, we have to work. Yes, we have things that we need to do. But when we're with them, give 100%. And then when you're doing your work and they interrupt, you know, I want to be present with you. Can you give me 5 minutes? And I'll be right with you. But acknowledge the interruption without, you know, feeling indifferent or ignoring them or, you know, go away kind of thing. You want them to know that you love them. So this Monday Mania, it is what goes around comes around. I'm going to bring it back full circle. What goes around comes around. Eventually, those children that we ignored, that we put on ignore, that we weren't present with, are eventually going to be taking care of us and changing our diapers. So, do you want them to put you away in a home and lock us there, throw away the key kind of thing? No. So, with the people that we're with, be with them. Be with them fully. You're playing trivia, be with them fully. Don't be on your cell phone. Don't be thinking about other things. If you're at the Vine and you're dancing and you're singing, be there 100%. Give it your all. And then when you go to sleep, make sure you're able to turn off that mind. Give your sleep your all. So it is a pass the baton fully. Be fully present while you're running the race. Do your best at whatever it is that you're doing. And know, if you were a chicken when you were a child, there may be chickens in your future, like mine. So what chickens in my childhood with my family, and now there's chickens across the street. And I'm getting eggs, fresh eggs, sometimes with double yolks. So there's the yolk for you. The yolk of the day is that sometimes there will be 2 yolks in your egg. Enjoy it. Remember, life, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And we have to breathe fully into each moment, enjoy it, and be grateful for the race. Be grateful for the duration of it, wherever it is, no matter where you are and who you're with. Be present with them. Love them as much as you can. Let your pets, your children, your parents, your friends know you really love them. I'm Jennifer Elizabeth Masters. I hope you've enjoyed this little manic rant on a Monday, Thanksgiving Monday, Columbus Day. I love you. I hope you will share this. If you didn't watch it from the beginning, do so. I think you might enjoy this Monday Mania motivation. I love you.